There. Hello, hello. Okay, so have you ever just kind of felt like no matter what you're doing, it's just not enough, or like there's just always more to do, and you're not actually getting to do the things that you want to do? Well, then you're in the right spot. And P.S. Happy Lunar New Year! If you're watching this today on February 17th, 2026, if not, that's okay too, because you're seeing it whenever you need to. So as we start this new fire horse year, and if you're not actually sure what that is, you probably want to look it up. But just short little analysis. We're in the new year, new lunar new year, which started officially today, and it's been a big energy shift. You've probably already started feeling it, and the year of the snake and the shedding is over, and that doesn't mean that you can't still shed the old stuff. I just want to say that because I think there's been like so much freaking hype around, like you have to do everything before February 17th. Yes, that would make it easier, but if you are feeling like you're always having to be the strong one, the one who does everything, that no matter what you do, it's not enough, whether it's how much you achieve, whether it's how much you take care of other people, whether it's how much you're doing the right things, whether you feel like you are doing those things, but yet you still just don't have that sense of ease that you want, then this is for you. So I talk a lot about the old versus new paradigm, and there's a lot of backstory for me as to like where that story came from. And I know like those aren't my terms, that lots of people talk about the different paradigms, but like what that truly means for me. But I guess a huge part of that is, when I talk new paradigm and new paradigm of success, of living, of ease, like that's what we're entering into now. That's what the whole goal of the shedding is for, because you say you want ease, you say you want to, just feel like you can rest, can enjoy your life, actually like have fucking joy, and have that be enough. But a lot of times that's not what is actually happening for people, because it feels just like no matter how much you achieve, it's not enough, or you're letting people down. And maybe you've been feeling that pull, that shift to kind of do something different. And I guess the reason that I see this happening, and the reason I saw it happening for me, is not that I wasn't doing the things, and it was that I was doing things that were misaligned. I was doing things that ultimately, when I stepped back and said, like, when it's just me and I'm all by myself, like, what do I actually want? Am I actually happy with the way things are? And the thing is I couldn't actually say that. And I think, it's a question that I like to ask people, and I would ask you the same thing. When it's just you and you're by yourself, like what actually makes you happy? And can you answer that question? I know for myself, like back in, I don't know, 10 years ago, 2016, left my job. We moved to the Caribbean, started a new life, like stepped into a new fucking paradigm. And the big reasoning behind that was because I felt that myself. I felt like this is just not the life that I want to live, and I'm not happy. So even though I had everything on paper that I should want, and you might be resonating with that too, or you feel like you've been trying to create this new life for yourself, but no matter what you do or how hard you work, and no matter what you achieve, it just doesn't feel like enough. That isn't just about what you're doing. That isn't just about the actions that you're taking. And I think oftentimes, ironically, I'm a 1-3 in human design, which is the investigator martyr. And you might feel like yourself sometimes like that martyr, but like not from a healthy sense, but more like, if I just do more, if I just, do this thing for them, if I take care of everything, I'll have some sense of control. But what that control isn't actually about you being the best at things. It isn't about you doing the things. It isn't about you keeping your customers or your clients or your husband or your kids happy. It's not even about making yourself happy. It's a feeling of safety, because control equals safety. So when we're seeking that internal safety within our bodies, we sometimes go to the external foundations and we look for things outside of us. We blame things outside of us when we don't have that. And so we try to control the things in our life. And that might mean that, you do more, that you are the one who's always doing the carpool. You're always making sure your kids have, their homework done. You're always the one doing the dishes. You're always the one, making sure that your clients are keeping up on things, and almost like over managing and mothering people who aren't your kids in your life. And sometimes possibly even over mothering your kids. And I walk that line finally because I'm not a mom. But it's not about how good you are at what you do. It's not that if you just do these things, you'll be happy, because a lot of times you try to create happiness, you try to create fulfillment, try to create the life that you want, and think it'll just be easier if people just listen to me. But in reality, you're not listening to yourself, because it's that internal, noise that keeps coming up, that keeps driving you to do that, to show up that way, that is actually trying to tell you something. Like, that's the old paradigm knocking and saying, no more. Or actually, it's the new paradigm saying, like, you say you want this, you say you want more ease, you don't want to feel like this, you don't want to feel like you are always having to do so much just to keep things going. You just want people to listen to you, to and I'm kind of mixing, I will say, personal and business stuff here, because I think that they're related. But from the business perspective, this looks probably just like, oh, well, I need to do this, this, and this, even if you have a team, but you think that you can do it better. Or your husband does the laundry, but he doesn't do it the way that you would want it done. Or he makes you dinner, but it's not what you would want. And you constantly are finding these things that you could do better. So then you just go do them, and then you end up burning yourself out, or you end up like nagging when it comes to your partners, nagging, or you end up micromanaging your clients, or you end up attracting clients that need way too much from you, and it burns you out because you're putting so much time and energy into them and into getting more of them, that you're not actually living the life that you want. So I'm actually saying a lot of this as I'm getting ready for a trip. My husband and I are going on vacation. We're just going to Arizona. We're going to go visit my parents and go back to the place where we actually lived for a few years, starting in 2020. And a time frame when we lived there that was a big catalyst in my business. And I've been reflecting a lot lately on, what it was. And it was me really taking that step back, and, not saying I'm better or I know what to do, because it's different for everybody, but being able to take that step back for yourself and ask yourself, like, am I actually happy with the way things are? And I want you to put aside like what other people think, because I think sometimes, again, when you're kind of in this space, you think, well, I'm making, a really good money, or, things are working pretty well, or I have a pretty good life, so I shouldn't want more. I shouldn't, want more money. I shouldn't want more time. I shouldn't, you feel guilty for, feeling like resentful towards people or things that are happening in your life, and ungrateful. But in reality, like, you have to ask yourself, like, what do you actually want? What actually makes you happy? And first of all, if you can't answer that, that's normal. I want to say that. Or if you don't know what that is. But oftentimes we find, like, I found this for myself, it's like I started to not be able to answer that, because my identity had gotten so lost in who I was for other people and what I was doing for other people, and, my identity in my business, in my marriage. But I actually started to realize, like, I was doing these things that on paper made me have the life that I wanted, but I wasn't actually fulfilled or happy and experiencing the joy that I wanted. So like I said, I'm recording this, because I've been doing a lot of reflecting on myself as we get ready for this trip. And I'm actually planning to take quite a bit of time off the next week, and I don't actually work a whole lot, not from the perspective like I'm not doing things, but I'm not working like crazy as it is. But I've recognized, even for myself, where I've, like, because we're in winter and I can't go outside, I can't do some of the things I want, we're not traveling, we haven't traveled in a few months, so I've kind of, like, been putting more focus and energy into business, not purposely, but even recognizing, like, that I was doing that. And when I was asking myself, well, what do I actually want? And I was like, well, I want this so that I, this will work and this will work. And I was just, like, trying to figure out, and the pressure of, oh, it's the new year, I got to have everything planned out, everything set up. But in reality, I was just like filling the time, filling the void, and I wasn't actually asking myself, what is it that I actually want? What is it that I actually need? What do I actually like? What actually makes me happy? And it is travel, it is doing things. And when this opportunity, like, I'm not gonna get into the story, but the opportunity to go this week, and I think it's just like perfect timing. The fact that we're traveling on the Lunar New Year and all of the transitions that are happening today, to really go back to where we started this, not where we started, but like where we were 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and to take that time to really just anchor back into that identity of ease myself, and joy and fun. And I would encourage you to take a look at the same thing, because the thing is you say you want the ease, but oftentimes you're not actually living your life in a way that is aligned for that. And it's not saying that there's anything wrong or like that you should be doing something different. Sometimes it is just a matter of like we're getting sucked into old patterns. But if you find yourself in these patterns or saying these things to yourself a lot, or not feeling like A, you know what actually makes you happy, or B, feeling like you don't actually get to be happy, and then you're finding all of these things that keep you from what it is that you want, then that we need to have a deeper conversation probably. But otherwise, just sitting back and asking yourself those questions is going to be a huge catalyst, I think, an awareness for you of where things are actually out of alignment with it, what it is that you say that you want. So and I'm happy to take that conversation a little deeper with you if you'd like. These are the types of conversations we have inside of the Unfiltered Collective community over in Telegram, and there's a link below for that. But yeah, I mean, we're not here to just work, work, work. And in the new paradigm of living, of success, of happiness, you are meant to enjoy your life. You're meant to have an amazing life, to be lit up by your life, by your work. But when you're so bogged down by this identity of, who you think you need to be to take care of other people, again, it's your nervous system, it's safety, and it's that control. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're doing that, you're not actually going to be in a position to be able to A, have the life you want, and B, to be able to sustain it. So that is why this work matters, not just so that, you can work less, but so that you can actually enjoy your fucking life and be the version of you that you want. Because even though a lot of people say they want it, oftentimes they never get it, because they continue in this loop, in this identity of doing for other people and of control. But that control, it isn't actually bringing more ease to your life as much as you might think that it is. In fact, it's actually doing the opposite, and it's causing you to burn out. It's causing you to be unhappy. It's causing you to be resentful towards people and things in your life that you don't really need to, because you can have an amazing life, an amazing marriage, and a business that supports that. You can have ease. You can make a lot of money. You can fucking have everything you want, and you can have it on your terms. And if that's what you're looking for, then my world is definitely the place to be. So more of these conversations to come. I'm going to go get ready for our travel, although I just got a notification during this live that our flight has been delayed, so looks like I have a little bit more time, but I will talk to you all later.